This is the Supernatural Hour with your host Bobby Luisi and special guest Donna Duffy.
Hello and God bless everybody. We got another great interview for you tonight. You know we're going to come every Wednesday night. As long as we got a guest, we're going to be on. And tonight's guest is Donna Duffy. And she had a few paranormal experiences. It's a really great interview. I can't wait for you to watch it. And as soon as the interview is over, I'll be live with Donna. So God bless everybody. Watch. Hey, Donna, thank you for coming on.
Hi, Bobby. Thank you for having me.
Oh,
hi.
Listen, you have a great story, and I want all the viewers to hear what you have to say. You know, these out-of-body experiences that you have, I had two of them myself. And yeah, I did. I'll talk about them later, another time. But it's proof that we do have a spirit, man.
We do.
Yeah, we're a three-part being. When that spirit comes out and actually can look down on your body and your soul, you know, everything Paul said was true, isn't it?
Everything is true.
It is. It's all true.
It's amazing. It is. And I would think we're part of an elite group, maybe.
Well, I think as Christians, I think we are, I think we are. And the group you're speaking about is the experiences that we had. But yeah, I think we're all blessed with that. Praise God, But
Praise God.
I want I want you to tell your story, huh?
Okay. Well, typical morning. I wake up in my brand new house. I had just bought it in February. So I was learning the lay of the land. And my typical routine is to get up, get into my gym clothes, and head to the gym very early. That's my coffee. And then after that, I just go across the street to my job, and I'm an accountant. It was also month end. So you don't call in sick on month end unless you're hooked up to an IV.
Right.
So I wake up to a whiteout. It's already 6 inches of snow. And it's kind of crazy, but I have a brand new car. It's a Chevy Geostorm, and my friends lovingly call it the little red roller skate. And it's rear wheel drive. So if any of you know what that means, you know what I'm talking about. So anyway, I'm not afraid to drive in the snow. My motocross friends taught me how to drive in this stuff. So coming down my hill at 1100 elevation, you have three different options, three different roads. So I thought I took the smarter road. I guess not. So I'm driving down the hill, going really slow, pumping the brakes just ever so gently. And I get to the sign, clearly pops out in front of me that says, "Caution, bridge freezes before road." And then I got to the end of the road, but what I didn't realize was that my car never stopped. And I looked to my left to watch the traffic, and I was going right. So when I looked left, I saw this car barreling down Route 44. And I thought, and this was my last thought, wow, he's going way too fast for conditions. Boom. And I looked to my right, thank goodness, because he T-boned me and sent my car flying across the road and just missed hitting the infamous toy store on Route 44. Now, when he hit me, that was it. It was lights out for me. I didn't hear a thing. Suddenly, or again, I really have no how much time expired. I was floating, literally floating upstairs.
Yeah.
And I was looking around. It was very, very bright. And I could see a few shadows, 2 or 3 shadows of just heads of about 3 people. And I remember looking at them thinking, oh, hello. And nobody came to greet me. And my thought was, where's my grandfather? Wait, how come nobody's coming to say hello? Where am I? And again, you're just kind of floating and you just have this sense of your soul from here up. And there's no pain. There's no noise. It's just beautiful and it's peaceful. And now again, I didn't hear anything. I didn't hear chainsaws going from the left corner to the right corner of my car. I didn't hear them using the jaws of life. I didn't hear them cutting off my steering wheel. I didn't hear any of this. And all of a sudden, my body was just slowly being kind of pushed, kind of turned. And then my body was just kind of angled down. And then my eyes were opened, really, and I saw myself laying in my car. And 6 firemen, and one of them put his head up towards the sky, and he said, where in the world is Lifestar? Why aren't they here? And I saw one of them look at his watch, and these 6 firemen, by the way, very hot firemen, they were very anxious, and I could hear them. I could hear them saying, we have to save her. We're losing her. We're losing her. I think she's gone. And then I saw the snow gently falling on my face. There was nothing else there. The 6 firemen and the snow. I could feel it falling on my face. And that was it. And what I did discover later was that they took at least an hour and a half between getting the ambulance there, the police ripping my car apart, getting me out, and then getting me to the hospital. It was an hour and a half before they started to take me to Winston Memorial. So then I came to in the hospital, and I could see my future sister-in-law, because I was engaged to be married within 6 months. And my father and my fiance and my mother, I did not see, but she insists she was there. But again, these are things that I remembered. So the nurse started to, oh, go ahead.
Yeah, no, not to interrupt. But now when you're saying you're seeing these people, are you out of body again? In the hospital?
No, now I'm laying on a very hard table in a very, very bright. So I was not over my body at this point.
Okay.
It was literally just when I was in the car and I was floating, and there was no pain. Very, very incredible experience. So the nurse said, she goes, she showed me a pair of scissors, and she said, now don't be worried. I'm going to be cutting off your sports bra because we're putting you in the MRI. So you're hearing scissors. We just have to cut your clothes off. And they told me 3 days later, you said, look out for them Grand Tetons. So, and again, I don't remember that. So then, now when this happened, it was a Wednesday morning at 5:53 in the morning. And when I came to, it was Friday, 2 days later, around maybe 11:30. And I started looking around, Bobby, and everything was bright and white. again, but then I kind of looked to my right and I saw this big window and these two nurses. And all of a sudden they looked frantic as if they were saying surprise to somebody's birthday party. And they came running in and they said, "Oh, do you know who you are? Do you know what your name is? Do you know where you are? Do you know what happened?" And I was like, whoa, slow down. And I remember thinking, wow, something must have happened. I must have had an accident. All right, wherever I am, it's okay. I, I'll get out of this and I'll go to work on Monday. And I kind of was just looking around because I was afraid to move at this point because they were so anxious.
Mm-hmm.
So I looked down and she goes, "Do you know where you are?" And I said, "No, but I'd like to know why I'm naked, you know, because there was just a sheet and that's all I could see."
Oh,
So then they started laughing hysterically. And they started to tell me what happened. And they started to tell me, that I had died for 28 seconds. 28 seconds. So now I'm thinking of all of these things that I experienced when I was upstairs with God.
yeah.
And it started to make sense.
Mm.
But as they started telling me things, and then the doctors came in, and then I think on Monday, the police officer wanted to give me a ticket. He goes, "I did write you a ticket because you didn't stop at the stop sign."
Get out of
I said,
really?
"Yeah." I said, he asked me if I remembered what happened. And I said, "I remember looking to my left and stopping at the stop sign." And then he reminded me of the bridge. And he said, "Well, we did take a picture of your speedometer and it was frozen on like 3 or 4. And I'm thinking, well, that's pretty close to stopping,
Yeah. Yeah. Rolling stop. Yeah. Mhm.
right? A rolling stop.
Yeah.
And the car that hit me was a Ford Thunderbird.
Oh, yeah.
My car got totaled. His car had a busted headlight.
Get out of
That's
here
it.
with all that.
But he stood in front of me and he showed me the ticket and he ripped it up. And he goes, "We're all thankful you're alive.
Oh,
God was with you. God was with you. We've
Mhm.
never seen anything like this. We removed you from 13 inches."
Wow.
I said, "What?" And I sent you the pictures. Oh,
You were crushed. Wow, that's amazing.
I was crushed.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
crushed.
Now let me ask you, after this happened, did anything else come about paranormal or different things? Did your eyes open to anything, or was this it?
There was only one other instance that I can recall clearly was after I got married and I had 2 children, which again, that was miraculous in itself in
Mhm.
many ways. Um, my ex-husband's parents had passed away, and I woke up in the middle of the night and his father was standing at the end of the bed. And I've only shared this with him, but his father was standing at the end of the bed and
Mhm.
looking at the ex-husband saying, "You need to be better. You're a Christian. You need to do better. You need to do right by her. You need to do better." And it was so real. You know, when you have a dream and
Mhm.
you just can't shake it because it's so real,
Mhm.
it's, and it was just his vision, you again, you don't really see anything from here down.
Yeah. Mhm.
Um, and then that was it. And that was it. That was really all. The only thing I do notice now is that I can I don't want to say predict, but I can kind of see the future to up to 2 to 3 to 4 days. I can see what's going to happen. And some might just call that common sense with the events that are currently going on. Oh, well, that's common sense. You knew that they were going to win.
Yeah.
But like with football, I've never bet, but I can tell by the way the teams are playing within the first minute or even beforehand when I just see their outfits. I can say, no, that team's going to win. Everybody says, oh, no, well, this team is favored. They're already 12-1, and this team is 1-12. I say, no, the sky is blue today. Their outfits are blue. The sun is shining. Their outfits are blue and yellow. They're going to win. And they do. And I think in 25 years, I think I've only been wrong twice.
Really? I wish I knew you when I was gambling.
Right?
Yeah.
I could retire by now instead of looking for a job.
Thank you so much for being on, Donna. In a few minutes, we're going to go live. Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for being here again. And we'll do question and answer. Sound good?
All right.
All right.
Sounds great.
You're on, Donna.
All right. Hi.
Hi, Bobby. I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Oh, I can hear you. Yeah. That was a great story. That really was.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you for being on. Yeah, I mean, the pictures you sent me is just amazing. And right here, this one here, when they cut you out of the car, I mean, look at the steering wheel. They had to cut the steering wheel, you said, right? It's
yes, they did.
You know, like that.
Really? I never heard anything.
That's something. You never heard anything.
I never heard anything. I remember looking at the car barreling down the road. And I used to drive limousines for a living for up to 6 or 7 years. So you just have to be careful. And when I saw him coming, I just thought, he's going way too fast. But I thought I was stopping. I really did. Wow. And the fireman and the police officer, well, the fireman told me, because they came to visit me too afterwards in the hospital, the distance from the center console of my little red roller skate to the door was 36 inches. And they removed me from 13 inches.
Yeah, and I can see that in that picture.
I don't remember ever having that small of a waistline.
Yeah, you can see where they cut you out, you know?
Right.
But then there was a good healing process after that, wasn't there? Seeing these other photos that you sent. A good healing process. Now, how old were you when this happened?
I was, I think I had just turned 28 or 29. I think 28.
So somewhere around the age right here?
Yes. Yeah, it was right after that. The big 80s hair.
Yeah, I see it. Yeah, I see. You know, anybody out there that wants to ask a question, this is the time to do it. I see we got several people watching, which is nice, you know. So anyway, that was something with your ex's father coming to you in that vision, in that dream.
And you don't expect it.
No,
you don't know. You know that there's definitely I had a bigger sense of something bigger than me. But you don't plan it.
Right.
It just happens. And then when you wake up, you keep thinking about it because it was so real. And sometimes you wake up from a dream and you have to ask your partner, did I eat 25 marshmallows last night? You know, because it's so vivid, and it just happens. And I really do believe there is another side. There is another we're just visiting. There's a welcoming committee, and that's where you go. It's bright, it's light, and it's just beautiful. And there's really nothing to be afraid of.
Now, praise God, you were coming into the light. I know people that have passed away and went right into darkness. They went right into darkness. A friend of mine in prison, he was a wise guy in the Genovese family. And he took 2 heart attacks. He took one in prison. So I was curious. I said, well, what happened, when you took the heart attack and you died? He said, no, it was all black. I said, really? Yeah, he said, it was all black. He said, well, when I was in the operating room and I was coming back, I guess they must have been hitting him with the pads. He was coming back. He started seeing the light, but the light he saw was the light in the operating room. No other light than that. There's a lot of people that are going to that darkness. See, that's a gift what happened to you. That's really a gift. And it's a gift that God wanted you to come back and share that testimony with us. There is the other side. He is there. There is heaven. There is hell. There is Hades. That's why I love these stories. Because I think I told you I had 2 out-of-body experiences, but mine weren't like that. Mine were totally different. Different circumstances, I'll tell you one of them. When I got out of prison, I went to Tennessee, and I met my future wife there, my second wife. So I used to, I still cook today. I love to cook. So I cooked a meal at my apartment, and her house was maybe 1.5 miles away from my apartment. But down in Tennessee, they get a lot of ice storms down there. It's not like here with the snow. They really get a lot of ice storms. It's really bad at times. So anyway, I got my slippers on, and I go over to the house. I'm going to bring her 2 sons something to eat. I get out of the car. When I got out of the car, I slipped on the ice. My feet went up in the air, and I landed down on my neck. And what was happening, my whole body was shaking. It was like a convulsion. It was amazing. Well, why this was happening, and I thought I was going to die, I saw my spirit man sit up. He turned around and looked at me. And I was trying to grab him, but I couldn't grab him, And then I seen he lied back down. He went back down inside of me. It was amazing. So I saw him from the waist up. So he sat up, looked at me.
Right.
See, it was going to be okay, I guess, and got back inside of me. And I couldn't believe that happened. It was amazing.
Wow. Wow. And nobody was there?
Nobody was there.
Nobody saw this? Nobody?
I was out there on the ground in the driveway. No one knew in the carport. Nobody knew. And I just came to. And when I came to, I got up. I acted like nothing happened. And the dish, bowl, whatever, fell on the ground, but it didn't break. I just picked it up and I brought it into the kids and then went back home to my apartment. And I told Julie what happened at that point.
Just a normal day.
just a normal day. Yeah.
Just a normal day.
This is why the things I've seen, why I believe in this so much, because I've seen it myself. Very important. People have to believe in. They have to. And I think sharing these different stories with people, they start to realize, they start to believe that these things are possible, these things are happening, and that God is really there for us. He pulled you through that accident. Now, you told me a funny, he did. You told me a funny story when you're in the hospital in the wheelchair. You didn't want to go eat with the people. Can you tell me that story again?
Which one?
You were in the hospital, you're in the wheelchair, and they wanted to wheel you into, I guess, a dining room with the other people. You didn't want to go in.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
Bobby, this was not supposed to happen to me. Okay?
Mhm.
This was not
Yeah.
supposed to happen to me.
Right.
And I thought when they brought me to my room and they said, okay, this is your new room for the next 2 months, while you heal, because how do you put a cast around your pelvis and your spine from 6 fractures where I could have been paralyzed?
Mhm.
The gentleman nurse came in and he started to wheel me away. I said, no, 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 I'm going to eat in my room. And he said, oh, no, 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 no. Here, you eat in the dining room. And, how do you argue with somebody? But I'm thinking, why me? Why me? Why am I here? Why is this happening to me? I'm strong. I work out every day. I shouldn't be here. And he wheeled me to the entrance of the dining room. And I took the cane because they gave me a cane that was attached to the wheelchair.
Mhm.
There's no way I could use it. I don't know why they still gave it to me. And we got to the doorway and I put up one foot and not that I had any strength. I think at this point it might have only been 2 weeks into the healing process. And you all know when you break a bone, you have that cast on for what, 8 to 12 weeks.
Mhm.
So I put my feet up against the door jamb. Oh, no, 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 no. I'm not going in there. I'm not like them. I don't belong here. I need to go back to my room. I'm going to eat in private. Thank you very much. And that nurse got down to my level and he looked at me and he said, oh no, little lady. Do you see that woman over there in that wheelchair? She got shot by her boyfriend.
Wow.
From the neck down, she's paralyzed. And guess what? She needs to be fed for the rest of her life.
Wow.
Now, your doctor told you that you might never walk again.
Mhm.
But the fact that you just blocked yourself from going into this room tells me you will.
Yeah.
And you're here. You're on my dime. You're going into that dining room. Those people will never get out of their wheelchair. Their stories are twice as bad as yours. And you need to realize that no matter what you think you're going through, there's always going to be somebody else who has it worse.
Mhm.
So you're going to close your mouth and I'm going to wheel you into this dining room and you're going to go sit right next to her and you're going to enjoy your meal and you're going to introduce yourself.
Wow, that was good. Wow.
And that was, I was under somebody else's ruling, but at that point.
Yeah. Well, I can understand why you felt like that, and I can understand why he pushed you in that room. I mean, you just don't want to come face to face with facts that this really happened to you, and you don't want to be with the rest of them, right?
Right.
Really?
I wasn't supposed to be there.
Yeah.
No,
Mhm.
no. I was only 29.
That's
You're about to get married, you just buy a house. I didn't have a will. And then you start to really realize, wow, every single minute is so, so important and so precious. And you need to make the most of it. You really do, because none of us know when we're going to be called.
no.
Just don't. So.
Well, there's Angela's here. She's saying hi, Bobby. Angela, do you have any questions? Anything for Donna? That's nice that she put up. There was another story you told me too. It was interesting about the Santa Claus with the little girl. Can you share that one?
Sure. So when I first had my first child, I joined a women's club basically to get out of the house.
Yeah.
And I've always loved Christmas. So I came upon this Ms. Claus outfit, and we have a breakfast with Santa, as many clubs hold, and it's a fundraiser. And I played Ms. Claus, but what I didn't realize was that when the parents would come in, the children would look at me with big eyes. And one even asked me, "Do you know Santa Claus?" So I would talk to the parent quickly, because the parent was up here and the child was down here. And I would say, "What's his name?" or "What's her name?" and what's on her list. And they would tell me in an instant. I would go down to the young child's level and I would say, "I got your list. Do you want me to send it to Santa? I know what you want. You want a Susie Cries a Lot," or whatever they call those toys now. And the child would just look at me with these big eyes. And I would give them, well, give me a little pinky. And that was our little secret. And they were just enthralled with that. And then I would say, "Now go and sit on Santa's lap and tell him what you want. But don't worry, I know what you already want. I'll make sure he knows." And the parents would just look at me like, and then 2 or 3 years after I started doing that, it's been about 25 years now that I've played Miss Claus. I'm in the grocery store, I'm in the produce department, and out of nowhere, this little girl comes up to my side, and I didn't even see her, but I felt her little pinky grabbing my pinky, and I had to turn sideways. And I looked down, and this little girl was saying, "Did you get my list? This is what I want for Christmas. Tell Santa." I'm in a grocery store. How? So there's another level. There's another dimension. I mean, you can't explain it. But this is what happens. And that happened a few more times after that in various places. Children would just come up to me, or they'd sit next to me like in the movie Elf.
Yeah.
And it just warms my heart. So my purpose is to just continue doing service work for my community. And it just brings me so much happiness. And you don't look for a thank you. You just do it.
Just do it. Yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's good to be there for the people, make people happy, put a little joy in their lives.
Exactly.
I got one more thing to ask you before we go tonight. The motorcycle. Tell me about the motorcycle. Now, you've been in this bad car accident. You're on this motorcycle. That I can't understand. I'm afraid of them myself. I'm not afraid of many things, but something that I feel I can't control, I don't want to get on it, So tell me about the motorcycle.
Back in the day, I met a guy that I started to date, and he was a motocross champion, actually, 30 times.
Wow.
And every Wednesday night we would go practice. And then Sundays were the races up at Southwick, Massachusetts. So I'm sure many of the viewers might know where that is. And he started me on a Honda, I think it was a 400, a 4-stroke. And he taught me how to ride. And then I would ride his Suzuki 125 RM. And the faster you go, the easier it is. And it was fun. So they took me out in a Chevy Cavalier. We took it out on the racetrack and we rode around. And then I also took a motorcycle, a dirt bike, and we put spikes in the tires and we rode on the ice. So you lay it down. It's pretty intense. It's pretty fun, let me tell you. But we went out onto Route 9 in New Britain when they were first creating that, connecting it from wherever it started to over by Central Connecticut State and Route 84. And we went out one night, it was like 8 inches of snow. And that's the car that has the center brake. So you just pull it up and you do donuts. But you learn not to be afraid. So that's where I, rode dirt bikes 6 years and riding the cars. And then when I got married, you go to a race and you just feel it. It's very exciting. And I thought, my first thought was, oh my gosh, I need this. It's like when you find your calling, you find what you like to do, designing kitchens or construction or working in a hospital or being a nurse. It just gets you. And I said, that's it. I'm going to get a street bike. And I took the classes and then I bought my first bike. And thankfully, my first time out, I had to dodge an 80-year-old woman who thought that she had every right to, run me off the road. I said, oh, no. But you learn, if you learn in the dirt, it's so much better to learn to know how to ride on the road. Because I'm not afraid to do an endo and to just tumble and go over the handlebars and just tuck and roll. It's not a big deal.
Really? You're not afraid of that at all? No.
But I absolutely, I'll wear all my gear. I'll wear a helmet. I've got my boots, my leather coat with the elbow pads. And it's such a passion. When it's beautiful out, I have to go riding.
Yeah, I mean, I was happy with my 10-speed, and I think I would stick with that. Not even a mountain bike, just my 10-speed. No, that's a good story.
And that's just it. It's life, and I'm not going to go out perfect by any means. I've got scars everywhere. I've got scars. I've got more metal than my mom. Screws, plates, titanium in my pelvis. What else is there unless you have a story? She went out perfect. She was the perfect little librarian or schoolgirl, No. I'm going to test my limits because I've been there. So I'm not afraid. There's nothing to be afraid of.
Yeah, I'd just rather be in a sedan. I think, more happy with that. I feel more protected. Constantine is. God bless my friend. I'm doing well. I hope you're doing well too. I see him in the comments. I think this was a great show tonight. I think we're doing very good. Is there anything else you want to share with them before we go?
When you wake up every morning, praise God, and make your day full of purpose.
Yes.
Every minute that goes by is gone. You don't get it back. Make sure you hug and squeeze or kiss your significant other. Just always be happy. Always, you live your life with purpose. You live your life with meaning. And you be sincere about it. Because there's always, Bobby, there will always be somebody who's having a tougher day than you.
I agree.
You need to be kind in everything you do. And even if you just smile at somebody, you just made their day and you don't even realize it.
I believe that. I make sure everybody I see in work, people come in, customers, I'm friendly with everybody. That's the way it should be,
Right. And never judge somebody.
Yeah.
Because You can't listen to the outside forces of what other people say. It's how that person treats you.
That's true. Yeah.
And that's what matters.
Hmm.
So,
That's great. Let's see what do we have here. Want to get an autograph photo, Bobby? Yes, I have one for Angela too. I tried to do it on my computer, Constantine, but it didn't come out good. So I have to go down to I don't know, maybe FedEx does that or Staples or one of these stores and get the pictures done there, and then I'll start mailing them out. So what you could do is go to the website, bobbyluisi.com, and right there you could get attached, and then you could just send me your address, and I'll get it to you. I promise. And I promise Angela, so I'll get them out there. I've been really
well,
busy.
I want one. Wait a
I'll
minute.
get
I want one.
Yeah. You know, the other printer I had was really nice, and you know, I used to print out the pictures beautiful. But this new one that I have, Epsi, whatever the hell the name of it is, it just doesn't do it. It just doesn't come out good. You know? So now I gotta go somewhere else and get them made. But that's all right. That's all right.
Yeah.
But I love to sign them and send them out to people. And I really do. At one point, I was selling them on my Etsy store, but I stopped doing that. So if anybody wants them, I just send it to them.
Right.
They send me their
And
address.
you have a book too, right? You have a book?
Oh, I have 2 books. Yeah. God's Plan Revealed. It breaks the Bible down from Genesis to Revelations. And I also have From Copper to Christian. It talks about the mob life and it's a testimony and what made me turn from that life to Christ. So it's a pretty good book. It's a good book, you know. And they're up on Amazon. And Copper to Christian is on Etsy store. And what I do with that, anywhere in the United States, I'll sign it and mail it to you for $25, postage free. So I sell a lot like that. You know, it's nice. It really is. Okay. Listening while working. All right, nice, Joe. I'm glad you're here. Yeah, we had a good out. When you go back and watch this. It's a great show. It really is. All right. You've had a great show tonight. Look at that, Constantine. They enjoyed it tonight. That's good. That's good.
Thank you.
Pretty soon they'll be asking questions, you know. That's what I'm hoping. This is only our second show. You're on the second show. So
I'm
this
number
has to
2.
build. You're number 2. You know, this show will build. This happened to me when I was doing the gangster genre. You know, we started the live show, 20, 30, 40 people. Then I went to 100. Then I went to 500. And that's going to happen here with this show. Because people don't know that I'm coming out live again. I've been live for a while now. You know, so now
It'll
I'm back.
It'll just grow.
Oh, it's going to grow. It's going to grow. Great stories like yours. People want to hear them. You know, there's a lot of great people that watch, Christian people. They love to hear the stories. You know, and praise God, you're sitting there to tell us the story after that accident. I got to show them again the car. You don't mind if I do that, do you?
No, go ahead.
Yeah.
30 years ago. 30 years.
They had to cut her out of this car. Tell the story again.
You can see, you can see where the door where he T-boned me and the car just cracked in half. The car door cracked in half and twisted the seat. And my poor little red roller skate.
Look at that, look. Yeah.
Yeah. And again, what's so incredible, Bobby, is that to today, I look at these pictures and I almost want to cry because I just realize the significance of what happened and how it makes you realize that your life is so precious. Every day does count. And it makes you realize it can be gone in a second.
Oh, yeah.
So, it's scary, but you don't know it's coming.
Yeah.
And
And they told you might not walk, right? Didn't they say that to you?
Oh, they told me you're never, no, it wasn't just a potential. It was, you will never walk again. And the doctor, when they transferred me from the Winstead Memorial, because I was in the ICU for 8 days, 8 days. And this hospital in Winstead, Connecticut, they were planning on closing it. So I was really the only person in there under the age of 80. And they moved me to, I think it was Mount Sinai in Bloomfield, Connecticut, which is rehab. I think I was there for at least 6 or 7 weeks. And when they put me in the room, before they put me in this room to say, goodbye, we're releasing you, they made me get from you have to go from the bed to the wheelchair. You have to be able to move. You have to be able to get yourself up. And they use the triangle. So your upper body strength has to be, it's so important to exercise every day.
Yeah.
And so I was able to do that. And the nurses were always pretty impressed because I could hold myself up, while they were changing the sheets or whatever. And you go from the bed, you slide into the wheelchair. And then from the wheelchair, they then move you. After so much time, they had me get up and literally walk stand up about 10 feet using a walker. And I got to the end, and you don't realize that your body just starts to, you start to, your muscles go away.
Oh, yeah.
And so I walked basically to a doorway about 10 or 12 feet, and they said, okay, you're good. You can go home. I said, what?
Yeah.
And then they put you in a room with 6 doctors, and they explain everything that you went through, what you're going to experience at home, rip up all of your rugs. Somebody needs to be with you. And do you have any questions for us? I looked at these 6 doctors and I said, I'm going to get married in 3 months now. Can I have children? And all of a sudden, one doctor got onto her, at that time, a pager. Oh, I'm late for an appointment. I've got to go. So she took off. And then another doctor just pretended to look busy in his notes. And then one of the female doctors said, that's God's gift. There is no guarantee, accident or not, that you will ever have children. There's no guarantee. So I accepted that. And I said, okay, they're being honest. And then I went home and I just had to rehab myself for at least a solid 1.5 years.
No, I've seen that. How long were you on these crutches for?
The crutches were pretty much up until early May. My wedding was May 4th. And what I did when I walked down the aisle was I asked both of my mom and dad. They both raised me. And I thought, you know what? They both raised me. They both deserve to walk me down the aisle. But really, I didn't want to fall.
Yeah, I can understand that. I can understand.
And that was it. And then you just have to, I had that old handicap sticker for at least 5 years. The doctors kept renewing it. And they said, oh, no. We want to make sure that you don't have the fear of falling down or getting bumped. Because the healing process was still going on.
Sure.
And mentally, you just, why me? I'm only 29. Why me? But then you go on. I got married. I had 3 children. I put every ounce of my love into my 3 kids.
So. Wow, look at that. Now look, Constantine says, I'm also reading your copy to Christian right now. Oh, that's good. And Joe says, Geostorm, I knew it. So happy that you survived. You did it for a
Thank
reason.
you.
We all do. I think something isn't hard to see. Yeah, that's nice. Yeah, look at that, huh?
That's a tiny car.
Hmm?
That's a tiny car.
Yeah, it is. That is a small one. Yeah. Well, listen, I think we had a great show here tonight. I'm really happy. I'm so happy that you
Thank
came
you.
on, so patient. This is the second night we're on here together. First we're filming, now we're live. You know, it's nice. I really enjoyed this, and I'd like to have you on again, if that's not a problem.
I would love that. I would love that.
That'd be perfect. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank
You've
you,
been a great
Don.
guest. No, thank you. God bless you. And
God bless
I'm going to sign off right now.
Okay.
And we could talk later. We got to talk. You want the book? You want the picture? We'll talk later.
Oh, yes, of course.